Hi friends, today we are going to see the past year NEET questions for the chapter Organisms and Populations, and today in this video we will cover part 1. Now let's begin with the first question, which was asked in the year 2017. Presence of plants arranged into well-defined vertical layers depending on their height can be seen best in dash. Okay, now you're given 4 options here, right? You have tropical rainforest, temperate forest, grassland and tropical savanna. So what do you mean by the tropical rainforest? Tropical rainforest. See, the tropical rainforest, or you have even tropical evergreen forest. They are the rainforests that occur in the areas of the tropical areas where the climate in which there is no dry season at all. One thing unique about it is here, they don't have dry season. All months have an average precipitation of at least 60 millimeter. And may also be referred as a lowland equatorial evergreen. Okay, so the tropical rainforest is a hot, moist biome where it rains all year long. It is known for its dense canopies of vegetation from there, and it has usually the vegetation is in the form of different layers. The top layer or the canopy contains giant trees that grow to a height of 75 meter and more. So I've given you the clue. While rest, if you see the grassland, temperate forest or the tropical savanna, they don't come under it. The tropical rainforest have 5 vertical strata or the bay layers. The first canopy, if you see, will be the giant tree. So it moves on from every layer to a layer. While the rest, you don't have any layers, but they are all, of course, a forest where you find dense growth. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option A. So I've given you a clear picture of how a tropical rainforest, how dense it looks, you see. Okay, next question here. Most animals are tree dwellers in a dash. So this question was asked in the year 2005. This question was asked in the year 2015. Okay, most animals dwellers. So you have 4 options here. Again, the answer is tropical rainforest. In tropical rainforest zone, most of the animals prefer to live on trees, because I said it's a very dense forest with a lot of trees. Okay, the reason is that the floor of the forest is full of humidity. As I said, you don't have any dry season for a tropical rainforest. You always have rain there, and the floor of the forest is never dry at all. You always have the humid nature there. Therefore, the animals prefer to be in heights so that they can preferably be away from the moist or the damp floor. That is the reason is that the floor of the forest is full of humidity, decomposing leaves and other organic matters, and it's mostly a habitat for insects. Therefore, the animals prefer to be in trees. Therefore, the right answer to this question again, tropical rainforest. Okay, now let's move to the next question here. Benthic organisms are affected most by dash. What do you mean by benthic organisms? How can you describe them? Now you have 4 options here. Now first we will discuss what do you mean by benthic organisms. Now these are the word benthos come from the Greek word meaning depth of the sea. Okay, depth of the sea. Okay, benthic communities are complex and include a wide range of animals, plants and bacteria from all levels of the food web. Clams, worms, oysters, shrimp-like creatures and mussels are also examples of benthic organism. So I've given you a clue of what is these benthic organisms are. So they are affected mostly by the sediment characteristics of the aquatic animals. Since I told they are present in the depth of the sea, then they will have what will they have? They will settle in the deepest part. So when they grow in that deepest part or the depth of the sea, the sedimentation becomes a problem for them. Okay, the things that go as waste or the things which due to any pollution, whatever gets settled down will affect the growth of these benthic organisms. So I've given you some examples like you have the worms, then you have oysters. These are good examples of benthic organisms. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option D. Okay, next question here. Which one of the following is not a parasitic adaptation? Okay, we have to analyze the statements here. The first statement, loss of unnecessary sense organisms, wrong, organs, wrong. Development of adhesive organs, wrong. Loss of digestive organs, wrong. Now, when you talk about parasitism, one species, when we talk about a parasitism or a predator kind of thing, one will be benefited and the other will be affected, right? This is how it follows. The parasite will be benefited and the other host will be harmed. Parasites have a very high reproduction capacity. The life cycles of the parasites are often complex, involves one or two intermediate hosts or vectors to facilitate the parasitization of the primary host. So, which of the following is not a parasitic adaptation? Is the loss of reproductive capacity. Therefore, the right answer is option D. Okay, next question here. Large woody vines are more commonly found in dash. Large woody vines are more commonly found in the tropical rainforest. This is a common concern in high humidity climate conditions. Okay, see, these questions don't need much explanation, but you just need to know the answer. Okay, so where do you find large woody vines, or where it is commonly found? It is found in the tropical rainforest, which is option C. Next question here. Consider the following 4 conditions 1 to 4 and select the correct pair of them as adaptation to the environment in desert lizards. The first one is burrowing in soil to escape high temperature. Losing heat rapidly from the body during high temperature, that is wrong. Busk in sun when temperature is low, insulating the body due to the thick fatty dermis. The right answer is only 1. What do these desert lizards do? If you see, when there is high temperature, they burrow in the soil to escape the high temperature. So this is something unique about them. Some species make permanent burrows deep into the soil to escape high temperature or sunlight, and some cold-blooded animals often like busk in the sun to warm up their body. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option B, which is only 1. Okay, next question here. Which one of the following statement is correct for the secondary succession? What is secondary succession? It refers to the regrowth of habitat in an area where a disruptive event has occurred. So something has happened, maybe deforestation or some natural calamity, everything got destroyed. But after that event, there is growth. Okay, so I gave you now the example. Now you have to understand and answer. It occurs on a deforested site because I told you it will happen on a site where a bad event has taken place. It can be a burning forest fire, or it can be a flood, something or the other. But even after that event, you find regrowth there. So which one will match the secondary succession will be option B. It occurs on the deforested site. Okay. Next question here. The logistic population growth is expressed in the equation dash. The right answer is option B, and I will show you the explanation for you on the right side. The logistic population growth is expressed by, so N is the population, okay, population density at time, T is time, R is the Malthusian parameter, which is the rate of maximum population growth, and K is also called as the carrying capacity, that is the maximum sustainable population. So what is this? It is a type of population growth when resources are limiting. So the logistic population growth is expressed by Tn by dt, which gives you Rn, K minus N divided by K, where K represents is also called the carrying capacity, while N is the population density, T is the time, and you have R, which is called as the Malthusian parameter, which is the rate of maximum population growth. Therefore, the right way of expressing it is option B is the right answer. So what is it actually? It is a type of population growth when resources are limiting, and this is how this is the equation that you use. Next question here. The figure given below is a diagrammatic representation of response of organisms to the abiotic factors. What do A, B, and C represent respectively? So they have mentioned it is it as abiotic. So that is a clue for you here. Now look at the diagram closely. Okay, A is here, C is here. Look at the growth. Okay, look at the growth of B, look at the growth of C, look at the growth of A. What do you think will be the answer now? The right answer is option D. A is actually the regulator, B is actually the conformer, and and C is actually a partial regulator. The right answer is option D. This is a diagrammatic representation of response of the organisms to the abiotic factors. A, B, C represent them. Okay. Now look at this question here, which was asked in the year 2008. Consider the following 4 statements about certain desert animals such as kangaroo and rat. Now you have to analyze the statements. They have dark color and high rate of reproduction and excrete solid urine. Do you think it's right? Wrong. They do not drink water, breathe at a slow rate and to conserve water, and hence their body is covered with thick hairs. Again, that is wrong. They feed on dry seeds and do not require drinking water. They secrete very concentrated urine and do not use water to regulate the body temperature. When you take the characteristics of the desert animals, they feed on dry seeds. That is true. Okay. When they feed on dry seeds, they will not require much water to be consumed. So that is one good way. And the other option which is right is 3 and 4. They excrete very concentrated urine and do not use water to regulate their body temperature. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option 3 and 4, which is option A. Okay, next question here. Which one of the following pairs are mismatched? Now you have to analyze and tell me. Tundra, it's permafrost, that's right. Savanna has acacia trees, that's right. Prairie has epiphytes. That's wrong. Prairie does not have epiphytes. It is actually a grassland. Okay, this is actually a grassland. And epiphytes and epithermals are found in the desert. In tundra, much of the ground stays frozen throughout the year. The condition of the cell is called as permafrost. So the rest of the options are correct. Coniferous forest will have evergreen trees, and that is right. Therefore, the one which is mismatched here is prairie, which is epiphytes. Actually, it is a grassland. Okay. Next question here. All of the following statements concerning the actinomycetes filamentous soil bacterium frankia are correct except that. So we have to analyze the statements here. So what do you mean by the frankia? Maybe we'll discuss that first, and then we'll move into the we'll go deep into it. Okay, so frankia is a bacteria. So what bacteria is that? Nitrogen fixing bacteria. Okay, it's a nitrogen fixing bacteria that live in symbiosis with the actinorhizal plants, similar to the rhizobium bacteria found in the roots found in the roots of the nodules of the legumes of the family Fabaceae. Frankia also initiate the forming of the root nodules. So I've given you a clue of what the answer is. With this, you can now identify the answer. You have to identify which one is wrong. Can induce root nodules on many plant species? That is right. Cannot fix nitrogen in a free living state? That is wrong, because frankia is a free living nitrogen fixing bacteria, but sometimes also live in association or in a symbiotic relationship with actinomycetes filamentous bacteria, so that they can they help each other. It's not that they cannot be in free form and they cannot exhibit the characteristic of nitrogen fixing. Not necessarily like that. Therefore, which one is not the right one? Okay, which is option B. Okay, next question here. What is a keystone species? Okay, what is keystone species actually? It is a keystone species is one of which makes up only a small proportion of the total biomass of a community, and yet has a huge impact on the community's organization and survival. So I said it's a keystone. It is important, though the quantity of it is very less, but the importance of it is very high. That's why we say, while writing a summary or while writing an essay, we say They are the key words, they are the key sentences that you need to remember. Keywords, key sentences doesn't mean they will come in bulk, but they are just words and mere sentences that add value to your presentation. Likewise, this keystone species, they might be less in quantity, but their value is high. Okay, I've given you the clue now. You can analyze and say. A species which make up only small proportion of the total biomass of the community, yet a huge impact on the community's organization and the survival. Therefore, the right answer to this question is option A. So, their presence is very less, but still their presence is needed for the community. Okay, fine. Next question here. In which one of the following habitats does the diurnal temperature of soil surface vary the most? Okay, what do you mean by di? Di means two, right? We all agree with that. What do you mean by diurnal temperature? See, it is a temperature. See, the diurnal temperature, which can be abbreviated as DTR. Okay, DTR, and it is the difference between the daily maximum and the minimum temperature. Changes in the DTR have a maximum multiple possible causes like cloud cover, urban heat, land use, and so on. Different regions are affected by different temperature. But where do you find this? Where do you find this to vary most, if you see? And especially they've given a clue, which is soil surface. Therefore, the right answer to this question is desert, which is option C. Okay, next question here. Diffuse sporous woods are characteristics of plants growing in dash. So this question was asked in the year 2003. What do you mean by diffuse sporous woods? Diffuse sporous woods have vessels irregularly arranged within the wood. In tropics, there is no sharp distinction between the seasons, hence there is not much of difference in the activity. Okay, so I've given you a clue now. Where do you find this actually? It's a characteristic of the plants growing in tropics. Okay, for example, the best diffuse woods can be cambium. It's a very good example for this. And if you see here, they are vessels which are irregularly arranged within the wood, and mostly it is in the tropics, and there is no sharp distinction between the seasons. Now, when you take the tropic rainforest, the tropic region, as I said, there is no dry season at all. So there is no much fluctuation in the climatic changes which happen in the forest. Therefore, it is actually a boon or an advantage for these diffuse spore woods. Okay, therefore the right answer to this question is option A. With this, we complete the part 1 of organisms and population. Hope to meet you in the next part of the same chapter. Thank you.